Hi there, I'm William Pleasant, the Chief Solutions Officer and General Counsel at Bridge House Advisors, and I would like to welcome you to this installment of our Industry Voices podcast. I am thrilled to be joined today by Scott Chafin, the CEO of ENTACT, one of our great clients. ENTACT is a leading environmental remediation and geotechnical construction firm, and I'll let Scott talk more about the firm in a minute. But Scott, thank you so much for joining us.
William, I'm pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So our theme for this podcast series is resilient sustainability, and I can't think of many better examples, knowing what I happen to know about ENTACT. But Scott, maybe you could start by giving us a little introduction of yourself and ENTACT, sort of the story for the last 30 plus years.
Yes, I'd be glad to. So again, Scott Chafin, CEO here at ENTACT, and I've been here since 1994. It's been fantastic. And we have been performing environmental remediation and geotechnical construction since the very beginning. ENTACT actually turns 35 this summer. So we've been doing it for a while. Here, we're geographically uninhibited. We do work all over the U.S. And to be clear, ENTACT is Carhartts and hard hats. We've got great technical skill sets in-house, but we are an execution machine. We actually do the field work in the field. If we're self-reflective, we would describe ourselves as being in the risk management business. Because we handle very important projects, very difficult work for our clients and for the communities that we work in. From a personality and character standpoint, we've got widespread internal ownership at ENTACT, which is a really important part of understanding who we are, the care and the accountability. And then I would say that although we've been doing it for a lot of years, we're still very much an entrepreneurial story. The startup, then the learn to survive, thrive, professionalize, and then grow. And we're still growing. And we've been very fortunate in the last 15 years to have great sets of private equity partners.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Scott. Given your core business for all these years, for decades of really improving the environment, cleaning things up, why has sustainability become more of a focus for ENTACT just in the last few years?
So you're right. First of all, we're in the environmental remediation business. So what have we been doing this whole time? We've been addressing thousands of sites, hundreds of millions of cubic yards of impacted material, hundreds of brownfield sites, 170 Superfund sites. It is what we do. We're by nature a team of like-minded individuals, very much a partnership mentality to both clients and the community. Something to keep in mind is that we're often working, remediating a site for months, a lot of times years. So we're very much a part of the community. I would attribute, to answer your question, I would attribute the more formal focus to several factors, including sponsor input. This became an aspect of our initiatives. The sustainability program became an aspect of our initiatives. It tapped into a desire to articulate what are longstanding themes and core beliefs into a more developed framework.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense. So you mentioned sponsors, but from your role now as CEO, and the first time I met you, you were the Chief Commercial Officer, not always somebody in an organization who is driving sustainability program development, but you were very active. And so from your perspective as CEO and former CCO, what are some of the business drivers behind your now focus on sustainability beyond the sponsor?
So I would say My perspective and our perspective is that the sustainability effort is one aspect of the desire to grow and mature, and frankly, to productively evolve as an organization, um, facilitate the improvement of attributes that really make ENTACT a fantastic business. And I think about it, the key values, our key values, customer centricity, ownership mentality, accountability, operational discipline, talent development, safety, integrity. All of these are very consistent with a strong sustainability program. So our organization has always had an unwavering commitment to safety, ethics, regulatory compliance. The sustainability program provides a framework in which to articulate that commitment. As a company, we have to identify and train and promote high performing talent in order to grow. So a vibrant development program and company culture helps facilitate that growth, and it's commensurate with a strong health and healthy sustainability program.
Right. Can you provide any specific examples? You mentioned sort of your culture development. I happen to know that you guys have an excellent safety record, and I know you do a lot of cool things in connection with your remediation projects. Are there some examples that you would share about how sustainability has played into your core business?
Well, I agree with you that the first thing that comes to mind is health and safety. Uh, and, we did not wake up and decide to care about health and safety. Uh, we've always cared about health and safety. So, um, however, it is useful to view health and safety as an important aspect of broader principles, planet, people framework. Similarly, we've always stressed the importance of training and skill development, which is another key component of our people working groups. We work literally in a regulations driven industry, but recognizing this component as an ENTACT principle has helped us to focus on it with additional clarity. So enhancements in multiple quarters.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey at Intact towards sustainability. My sense the first time I met with you and with Intact, there was still some skepticism maybe about ESG and sustainability. Um, is that an accurate read? And if so, what were the concerns?
So here's what I would say. I don't know if I would call it skepticism. I would say that we were concerned about that which we did not know. And like any other entrepreneurial business, we have to be focused on our work, sensitive to making sure we're not distracted. The scrappy startup mentality is still very much a part of our fiber. So I wouldn't say skepticism. I think it was more help us to understand.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, over the last 3 years, I have the inside view that you guys have really built a strong and maturing program. What changed over time? What got you over those hurdles?
So I don't think there was a moment. I would say that it was a progression. Um, program assessment, building capacity and competency, reporting and responding, sort of steady program build helped us gain confidence and comfort. Uh, I think here's what we learned. We learned through early steps, the materiality assessment, the strategy development, that in many ways, we already had a sustainability program. We just hadn't
Yeah.
organized and administered it as such. So those early steps, the discussions about what ENTACT feels is important, ethical behavior, associate well-being, GHG, emissions monitoring, community relationships, could be articulated in a manner that could amplify who we already are. I think that provided comfort. And we realized that we didn't need to change clothes. We could instead just think more fully about who we are.
Right. And so do you feel like you guys have gotten the workforce on board, your associates throughout the country?
Most definitely. Again, I would say that our organization was on board. We didn't have to drag anybody. Everybody was on board and is on board. I think the key was familiarity and understanding, and learning that things that were already a part of our organization, part of our practices, could be talked about in additional ways and could be understood in additional ways, and that we could spend time around them, and improve and enhance, and enlighten.
How has your perception or perspective on sustainability evolved over time?
Personally, for me, it's been a learning experience. Bridge House has been a great guide, really a mentor for me and for the ENTACT team. Uh, I would describe it as a very meaningful process, meaningful framework. Our organization cares as individuals and as a collective. This process enabled us, and Bridge House helped us to see and show that care and commitment in additional ways.
That's helpful, and thank you for the kind mention, Scott. That's awesome. Um, so let's talk about the how you got to this place in your sustainability journey where you have a fairly mature and ongoing program. Um, from your perspective, how did you go from doing a lot of good things, but not formally talking about them as a sustainability program to now regularly reporting both publicly and to your board? Tell me a little bit about the process from your perspective.
Yeah, let me walk through a couple of pieces of that, but let me just say, as an overarching uh, piece here, is that Bridge House's steady hand really served to reduce concerns. I would say, unscary the unknown, and
Nice. Yeah.
showed us that it's really important to have a process to follow. So that's
Hmm.
that's what is foremost in my mind. If I go back in time and think about the steps that were involved, initially we considered hiring a sustainability manager from the outside, and we quickly realized we wouldn't even know what we were looking for. And the beauty of Bridge House is that we could balance our internal resource commitment. We're very fortunate that we have a talented sustainability director in our operations ranks, Mark Fleury. We can balance that internal resource with Bridge House's support. Bridge House has a roster of SMEs and managers that we can access. So it effectively allows us to calibrate and adjust to demand as we need it. We have Bridge House on speed dial, answering questions, assisting with responses in a manner that would be very hard to replicate internally.
Right. What were some of the more challenging aspects of putting a sustainability program together inside Intact?
Like most things, it took time to form habits, particularly associated with program management and reporting. We just needed to form habits. And we've been able to do that because, you fast forward to today, and we're about to publish our third annual sustainability report. So new habits can be and have been formed.
When you talk about habits, it makes me think about integrating sustainability into your operations. And tell me a little bit about how you have done that. A report is sort of, as you've heard me say, Scott, the tail. We don't want to let the tail wag the dog. What's actually happening on the ground in terms
So
of sustainability?
it's a great question, great point. As mentioned, many sustainability program components were already part of the ENTACT system. Others, however, for example, the implementation of Spend HQ, were new. I think the key, importantly, was that we were effective in composing our working groups with Bridge House assistants in a manner that allowed us to both plan and prioritize.
And what have been some of the priority areas? What are some of the areas you guys have chosen to prioritize? I know we've talked about health and safety already, but are there other sustainability topics that you've been focused on?
There are, so we've definitely strengthened our greenhouse gas inventory, resulting in a much more complete representation of our emissions footprint. We've also been more intentional and consistent in our community relations, project level and company wide.
Okay. So you mentioned the greenhouse gas emissions, and earlier you mentioned Spend HQ. And these are sort of data heavy exercises, and Spend HQ is a great source of data. Tell us a little bit about how important data and data management has proven to be in your sustainability program.
So it's definitely part of the process. And our goal was, and we've been able to install a repeatable sustainability reporting infrastructure. For us, I think what was helpful was to acknowledge and realize that just like the rest of our work, you must be able to measure, record, and track. It's no different than the work we perform all day, every day effectively as an environmental remediation firm. You must be able to measure, record, and track. And it plays to the personalities and the approach of our people. We're very much a bunch of doers, and doers like to be able to record, understand, track, improve, and excel.
Yeah. And to that point, when we think about measuring success and being able to point to results, where have you seen tangible business value come out of your sustainability program?
So I view our sustainability program as one aspect of vibrant, thriving ENTACT. So as I look at ENTACT and I think of parts of ENTACT that are integrated into our sustainability program, ENTACT University comes to mind, uh, uh, our internal training programs. It's a key part of our Skills for the Future effort, and it contributes directly to our company's scalability. So our current and long-term success. More associates with more capability enables ENTACT to grow and deliver more projects for our clients. So creating career development opportunities for people is what we do. Executing the great work safely is what we do. Ethical behavior is what we do. So it's aligning with clients and communities, realizing and recognizing that that's both what we do and part of a sustainability program. So a well-expressed sustainability program is very much a part of this successful effort.
You mentioned input from your financial sponsors previously. How have they reacted to your program?
Very supportive, very supportive. Our private equity partners share ENTACT's perspective that a sustainability program is part of a healthy and vibrant business.
Okay. So what's next, Scott? Where is ENTACT headed from here in terms of sustainability? As the current CEO, what's on your sustainability wish list?
So there's a couple of things that come to mind. It is hard not to see continued technology development, whether in the field or as part of data management, as being an important part of the future. So I think that specifically will be a component. But I think in the bigger picture, our sustainability program will be better in 5 years. And the reason is ENTACT will be better in 5 years. We always have been. And we will do that in the only way that's really possible, which is one safe day, one satisfied customer, one completed task at a time.
We talked some earlier, Scott, about the drivers for your program, and I know there's all these different stakeholder groups that you guys think about. Your financial sponsor, your employees being a really important stakeholder group for ENTACT. What about customers, though? Have you seen examples where sustainability actually influenced a client relationship?
Yes. And I have to say, observation over these many years is that clients often make us better. We're very fortunate to have long-standing, deep relationships with those we serve. Our clients are national, international, premier businesses at the top of everything they do. Over the years, we've benefited from best-in-class thinking that has emanated from our customers. And I would say sustainability has been the same. ENTACT customers have developed their programs over time, and we've been able to learn from them along the way. I would also say that being able to align on these important topics helps cement the client alliance from procurement all the way through field implementation.
Okay. So one of the, I'd say, misconceptions that we hear often about sustainability programs is that sustainability and business value are an either or proposition, that somehow sustainability has a negative impact on business. What's your reaction to that? Has that been ENTACT's experience, or do you see it differently?
I don't see the topics at odds with each other. Again, and I very much attribute Bridge House as being an important part of that realization. And in the following way, we helped to discover how many of our existing philosophies, our approach, who we are, is consistent with sustainability. And we're an entrepreneurial business. Our job is to deliver excellent service to our clients in the field. That's what we do. So when we examine how we do it, and the important components of how we perform the work that we do and how we interact with the communities that we work in, if this process, the sustainability program, can help us better articulate, then it is an aspect of our success. I think there are probably those out there who are skeptical about investing in sustainability today. I would say to those folks, the folks that run those businesses, you're likely already investing in sustainability. So take the time to best orchestrate and organize efforts that are part of a strong, resilient business, and allow yourself to see these topics in a more synthesized manner.
Well said. If you need a side gig, we'll let you sell Bridge House. So, Scott, I want to thank you again for taking the time to speak with us today. We're lucky to have you and ENTACT as a client, and we appreciate your time today. I know you have a really busy schedule, and we appreciate the relationship, Scott.
Well, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for everything that Bridge House has done. The organizations found each other at the right time, and it's been a great match. So thank you for everything you and your team does for ENTACT.
All right. Well, this will wrap up our episode of Industry Voices, and we appreciate Scott's time, and thank you for listening.